This time tomorrow, do you expect Erik ten Hag to be out the door of Manchester United?
Absolutely.
You want him gone?
Yes.
Some people are saying to me that the players need to take responsibility, but still, I don't think United have had a convincing win in the Premier League this year, and they've just lost to Spurs.
No, we haven't. We've not played at all well. I don't think the players believe in him, so I think he's got to go.
Who do you want in?
Let's put Ruud in for a bit, shall we? That'll work for me.
Do you think the season's a complete and utter write-off now as well?
Absolutely not. 6 games. Come on, let's have it.
6 games, but you're not in tune whatsoever.
So what? It doesn't matter, does it?
Talk to me about the Bruno Fernandes red card. Did Chris Kavanagh lose his head?
I just think it looked a bit rash from him, from the ref. But what did VAR find? If VAR backed him up, didn't they?
First goal, I've got to talk to you about that as well. Van der Ven's allowed to run all the way through, pretty much like 60 yards.
So
No one's giving pressure on it. Same against Twente as well. Why is no one picking up Brennan Johnson at the back post?
I can't answer that question. I don't think I really know. I wish I knew. I'm not the manager, am I? But at least I'm saying something. But he doesn't say anything, does he? He just comes out with platitudes and rubbish.
You sick of him?
I backed him for the first couple of seasons, but I think his tenure's finished. I think he's gone as far as he can go. And if he's an honourable man, he should do the right thing and resign, because I think Ashworth, Wilcox and Barada will say bye-bye.
Mate, this time tomorrow, do you expect Erik ten Hag to be out the door?
Possibly, but possibly not, given that what we've seen with Jim Radcliffe's review in the summer. My opinion changed on him last season, Brentford away. I think we conceded something like 32 shots, was it? Within 2 games, we'd lost 4-0 away at Palace and got destroyed at home. This season, nothing's changed. So he has to go. Whether that's tomorrow, like you've said, is another question. But he has to go. How Ratcliffe and co can review the situation in the summer and understand that Pochettino's not right, Tuchel's not right, Motta's not right, De Zerbi's not right, but that kind of football is beyond me.
Who do you want in then?
Personally, I would have gone with Pochettino. I think the rumour now, it is only a rumour, but they're talking about Simone Inzaghi from Inter. And we'll have to possibly wait for that. So if he does go tomorrow, like you've questioned, is it Ruud till the end of the season? That's the big question. There's no one seemingly available now. Pochettino's took the US job.
Right, Daniel, this time tomorrow, big question, is Erik ten Hag still going to be in the job?
Yes, unfortunately. Actually, no, not unfortunately. I do still back this manager, but it's very hard to question it at this point. And I think Van Nistelrooy will be manager by the end of next week if Porto goes wrong and Villa as well. So yeah, I don't know what we can do to bounce back from this.
Would you like Van Nistelrooy to be your ultimate replacement, or do you need someone that's going to be coming through probably at the back end of the season or maybe even Christmas time?
I mean, we've gone down the ex-legend route. I mean, I've not seen enough of Van Nistelrooy when he was at PSV, but you know what? I think anything's better than this at this point. So yeah, Van Nistelrooy knows what it's like to be the DNA of the club, and I don't know where we can go from this under ten Hag.
Do you reckon it will galvanise the fan base though, with Van Nistelrooy being there at the helm, him walking out? It seemed like when I was seeing like the reviews on the telly and stuff like that, it almost looked like when Ten Hag was speaking to Van Nistelrooy, and I'm not saying like any sort of like fake news sort of nonsense, almost looked like Van Nistelrooy wasn't even listening to him.
Yeah, I obviously have not seen what you've told me, but at the end of the day, with the likes of Van Nistelrooy, you know, he's coming from a senior manager at PSV and he's coming as assistant manager. For me, I think that's been along the cards the entire time. Obviously, Erik ten Hag was risked of getting sacked last season, and then obviously the FA Cup kind of saved him. And I feel like Van Nistelrooy coming in, I mean, I saw him on Rio Ferdinand's podcast where he turned around and said that Eric personally called him. I don't believe that at all. I feel like the club got Van Nistelrooy in, or they've told Erik ten Hag to contact Van Nistelrooy, because I just don't believe that Van Nistelrooy's here just as assistant manager basis.
Why is it such a poison chalice though? You've had some unbelievable managers post Fergie, mate. You have. But still at the same time, they said they're looking for new managers in the summer off the back of the FA Cup final. They keep Erik ten Hag waiting, doesn't know about his future. I think he's on holiday in Ibiza and they didn't know what was going on. No one wants to take it. Why is that?
I don't know. I mean, you look at Mourinho, a serial winner, one of the greatest managers probably ever to grace football. And then you've got the likes of like ex-legend Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. You've got obviously Van Gaal. You've got David Moyes. Like, you've had so many managers since Sir Alex Ferguson, and no one can do it. But it's not even just the managers, players as well. Players come here and ruin the career. Manchester United is a toxic environment, and we ruin managers and players. And I just don't know where we can go from it. It might be nice to see City in the Championship though next season. So I don't know.
Double A, Aaron, I don't know what we've just witnessed with Manchester United losing 3-0 to Tottenham at Old Trafford. This isn't in North London. It's not at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Erik ten Hag, it looks like his chickens are almost coming home to roost and he's running out of his 9 lives if he were a cat. Where do you want this to go? Do you want him gone by tomorrow morning?
Yeah, I didn't even want him to stay this summer, mate. I don't think, one game winning the FA Cup was enough to keep his job. We saw him, rule and see over the worst ever Manchester United Premier League finish in 8th place, worst season, minus goal difference. And I have to keep reminding myself that we are Manchester United, and regardless of City doing what they're doing, that's one of the embarrassing things. No matter how embarrassed we get, when you're seeing our closest rivals doing 4 in a row, doing what we used to do, and we're nowhere near touching them, never mind competing with them or going toe to toe with them. Where we are now, it has to show you just how far we've fallen and how embarrassing we actually are. And listen, this manager's overseen all of this. He's spent the money. He can't even turn around and say it's the players now, because a lot of the players that started are the ones he's brought into the club. You even look at Rashford and Bruno. He's given them both contracts, made one captain, and said publicly about both of them, I will play them until they get it right. So it's all down to him. It can be nothing else. And they say a manager's built in his image. He must be the ugliest man in the world, mate, because that is the ugliest team I've ever seen play football. There's no cohesion, there's no togetherness, there's no idea, there's no, there's just nothing. And I'm struggling for words because there's absolutely nothing to describe what we are other than terrible.
Did you ever think that you'd be speaking like this off the back of that coming into this game, especially this morning as well? Did you ever think that you'd be here right now seeing that?
Kind of, yeah. And that's the worst thing. Again, it's like the thing is with United, and I've been saying all week, you don't know what you're getting. So I can't come here G'd up for a win. I want us to win. I come here not expecting us to win. I want us to win because it's the team I support, the team I love. But at the end of the day, I don't know what I'm going to see until they take to the pitch. And we saw after 3 minutes, they're out of the game.
It wasn't a bad squad as well. It wasn't a bad Manchester United squad, let's be quite frank.
No, I think the team, speaking to a few fans before the game, they were buoyed by it. You think that midfield doesn't look too bad, regardless of the form that Bruno's in. And I think some fans are going to be really happy he's going to miss a game or two now. But it should be enough to at least look like we can compete against Tottenham. And Tottenham aren't going for the league. Tottenham look good under Ange, but again, they've had their ups and downs.
Tottenham are quite similar to you in this sense, and I think a lot of Spurs fans would agree. They don't really know how games are going to go, especially if Postecoglou's style of football.
Absolutely, and hats off to them today. They absolutely outplayed, as you said before. It's not the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It might as well have been, because they look like the home team, and all the possession they had, the chances they had. That first half was really, really embarrassing, and we actually looked better after they scored their second goal, down to 10 men. And I literally said, let's just hope we can get something, and then 2 seconds later they went and scored the third.
James, it's raining. Manchester United have just lost 3-0 to Spurs at Old Trafford. Would you believe it? You'd think it was the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Erik ten Hag, chances are running out, surely. This time tomorrow, will he still be in the job at Carrington?
It might be unlikely, mate. It might be unlikely. Walked out the ground, heard someone on the phone to the mate asking him, has he been sacked yet? It's word round here, like people think he's going to be out of a job. And can you blame him, really? Can you blame them for thinking that? £600 million, third season, needs to be doing better. Did you see anything on that pitch today that made you think that this team had £600 million spent on it? I can't see improvement. Yeah, we've had trophies in the last 2 seasons, fantastic. We've had 5 trips to Wembley, fantastic. We've got some cups in the cabinet, fantastic. But week in, week out, we're coming here to Old Trafford, we're standing here in the beeping rain afterwards, and we're not seeing anything to inspire us, mate, we're not.
If you were in the board right now, would you be sacking him? As a Manchester United fan, do you want him gone?
I'm never going to be one of these people that comes on here and says I want a manager sacked. It's not my style. I'll always support my team. I'll always support them until the end. So that's not my style. There's serious questions to be asked, though. There's problems throughout the club. We've started to address the problems at the very, very top of the club, which needed to be done for a long time. There's still work to be done on that. We've brought in a structure. We've brought in some people at the top. That's good. We've brought in a lot of players. A lot of them are his choice. There has to be scrutiny on his position. I'm not going to say which way I would go, but you've got to look at stuff and say there are definite... There's cause for concern, for sure.
He's talked about Bruno Fernandes. A lot of Manchester United fans are very disgruntled about his performances recently. Of course, he's going to be out for 3 games now. Do you think Chris Kavanagh lost his head with the decision to sell him off? I know studs up, above the ankle, but it looked like he was slipping, didn't it?
Well, in the ground, we all knew he slipped. We all knew he slipped, but we thought maybe he's extended his leg, maybe he's just, studs are a little bit high and stuff. Phone just going off, because we've got Wi-Fi in Old Trafford now, that's a positive thing. Phone going off, oh, it's never a sending off, never a sending off. So I look at it at half-time, I'm like, you know what, he slipped, his studs are a bit high. He's a bit card happy, that ref today. There was some things where never a yellow, he's given a yellow.
I think Mason Mount had a yellow card within 5 minutes of being on or something.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it was like just very, very card happy. I think a yellow would have sufficed. But at the same time, the reason people are annoyed with Bruno Fernandes, he's been a stat padder almost throughout his whole career. You look at his stats, you compare them to someone like Odegaard, you compare them to anyone like that, they're fantastic. He's got better stats a lot of the time than De Bruyne. His stats are outrageous, goals and assists, like outrageous. But when he's not offering goals and assists, what is he offering? And that's the problem you've got with Bruno. He goes missing in games like today. He's petulant, and that riles up the crowd. You know, he's moaning when a decision doesn't go his way. He's making silly mistakes like now. Like, I grew up in an era, Brian Robson captain, Roy Keane captain, Wayne Rooney captain. You're seeing these people that are leaders. We look at the club. Is Eric Ten Hag a leader? No, it looks like he's lost the dressing room. Is Bruno Fernandes a leader? No, definitely not on the pitch. And we're just lacking leadership all over that pitch, and it shows.
Well, do you think he was one of the people to blame for the opening goal as well? Of course, Rashford gets dispossessed, heavy touch, and then all of a sudden he's running off and he can't obviously get back, but he doesn't make any effort to get back whatsoever. Van der Ven's then gliding through. Bruno Fernandes has the opportunity, he's up against him, doesn't put any pressure on him, bring him down and take the yellow card. Surely that's what you want from your captain, wearing your heart on your sleeve, for God's sake. You're playing for Man United.
Yeah, it's madness, mate, honestly. Like, Van der Ven doing his best Usain Bolt impression, just literally sprinting through the entire United team. It was mad. And he is a player, by the way, so credit to him, he is a player. But, I mean, I think at one point you see like 4 or 5 United players around him, not one putting a tackle in. Not one putting a tackle in, not one kicking him on the shin, not one pulling him back, nothing. And then it's literally squared, across the box, tap him. Third goal, squared, across the box, tap him. Too easy for Spurs today. Realistically, did they get out of second gear today, Spurs? They won 3-0 at Old Trafford. Didn't get out of second gear. This is a team that since they beat Everton, have they won in the Premier League? I don't think they have. So it's like they're struggling. Yes, they create chances. We know what Spurs are about. That's the disappointing thing today. We know exactly what Spurs are about. They do it week in, week out. They've come here and we gave them space. We gave them all the space in the world to play. We needed to be compact today. Last time we won a second ball was in like 2021. We just don't compete for balls on.
And literally, you're talking about sort of like intensity and whatnot. You've seen all of the games at Old Trafford in the Premier League. Fulham came here opening game of the season. There were still opportunities for Fulham to pick up 3 points there as well. It's not convincing for Manchester United.
100%. It's not been convincing all season. It's not been convincing for a while. People want a style of play. They don't get a style of play. But you get by. If you get the result, it's okay. And then you go to Palace and you're like, okay, we didn't get the result, but we had a style of play. So it's like, okay, you've got one of the two. And then when it comes against FC20 and today, we didn't get a result and we didn't have a style of play. So therefore, people rightly so are frustrated. Not first time, but I've seen it in a while. Big boos around the stadium at full time. Again, that's not me. That's not something I'm going to do. But you can understand the frustration of the fans, because that is not a Manchester United performance at home against Tottenham. What did Roy Keane say? Lads, it's Tottenham. Well, lads, Tottenham today put 3 past us. Not good enough. Not good enough, mate.